All right, good morning, Tucson. We are back with the Fresh Start Show with Dr. Holt and Tom Cortez is in the studio. Listen, get up, 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 get up. It's time to join the Fresh Start Show. Oh, go get your cream of wheat, your oatmeal, your donuts, and your bagels, your hot chocolate, all of those things. Get ready, because it is going down at the Fresh Start Show. We are excited to see hear all of our listeners tuning in with us and being able to join through our YouTube as well. So we are excited. Thank you for supporting us every single weekend. We are here every Saturday morning on 106 The Groove FM, and we are excited again and so thankful. I want to say thank you. You guys did it again. Tucson, you showed up for us, for the Fresh Start family in large numbers. From the beginning to end, we just had good traffic coming in to support the Fresh Start Empowerment Clinic. Kudos out to Lance Meek and the crew, Bear Barley, Lisa Tamar. Thank you guys for working with us to make this happen once again. Without the goodwill of Arizona, Goodwill Industries of Arizona, we would not be able to do what we do. So we thank for the Goodwill family, and most definitely we are thankful for the community of Tucson coming out in big numbers. So thank you again to all of our vendors. There was tents everywhere, meeting and greeting our members of our community with additional services in need. It looked like so many vendors also got a lot of love and support from our participants of our community. So again, we just thank you. Big kudos and shout out to the legal community. Man, you guys showed up and showed out. Thank you, Judge Blue and the crew from the Tucson City Courts. That guy's a gangster, man. He ran that whole court by himself, man. We got to give you love. I mean, and he was just moving and grooving with it. I mean, from startup to and I think he was the last judge. Was he the last judge to go?
Yeah, he was the last case to be heard, and he said $18,898 in fines were reduced or eliminated through him and city court.
Just the city court alone.
Just the city court alone.
Did y'all hear that? How much you say again?
$18,898.
Wow.
By the city court.
And we're not inflating those numbers.
No, because we know that one woman through justice court
had
$10,000.
That's right.
And that was just a drop in the bucket, bro, to the people that were going in there for justice court. Justice court just, wow.
That was, wow. I mean, the justice court was just crazy. I mean, it was just straight gangster over there. Pima County Justice Court showed up and showed out, really showed us some love. I believe 3 or 4 judges came. I mean, even Ray Carroll, all the way down from Green Valley, showed up and gave us love and worked with the other judges. So we want to say kudos to Ray Carroll, Judge Carroll. I mean, that's actually my JP because he covers Vail as well as Green Valley. So thank you, man. It was your very first time being exposed to what we do. So it was good to see Ray Carroll come up and join us. Judge Ray Carroll in the Precinct 7 Justice Court in Green Valley. So we're thankful for him. Of course, we know Krista Foster has always been our ride or die judge in the Justice Court. Want to give you a shout out. I believe it's Victoria Steele. That was as well as that. Thank you. All these sisters are also running for re-election. So both of these sisters, let's try to get these judges back on the bench. They are running for office. They didn't pay me to say this.
No.
I'm just saying that because of the fact that I'm not standing on any side of Republican or Democrat. And I'm not saying this to be partisan political, but I guess I am a little political because I'm talking about re-electing. But when we got good people, doing good work that's in office, we need to re-elect them.
And here's the thing, accountability to them is still of utmost importance. Okay, so just because they're reducing fines or eliminating fines, it doesn't mean that people aren't taking accountability for what they did.
Absolutely.
Right. There are other things that happen. I mean, people have to do community service.
Mm-hmm.
People have to do a number of different things rather than pay this fine
Mm-hmm.
that's going to keep them from being able to feed their family, pay
Absolutely.
their bills. Right.
Absolutely. You know, so the point I'm making is when we have good people in office, we should try to do what we can to keep
Absolutely.
them. We have so much evil
Mm.
in politics right now. And you know me, like I think I'm more of an independent than I am anything. But I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. I don't care if you're Democrat. If you're messing up, and you are not doing the right thing to look out for people, get your tail out of there.
Yeah.
If you're Republican, you messing up and you're not doing the right thing, you're not taking care of your community, get your tail out of office.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. And this is another thing I think people don't know. It's not just people got justice courts that you elect to office. People don't understand you also retain Superior Court judges.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a whole list of
There's a
judges.
whole
yeah.
list of jobs, but a lot of people don't know that.
No.
They just be ... anything that's under a D.
Yeah,
Okay. And
right.
you don't even pay attention to who these people are.
Right.
And you skip that you have retained some Superior Court judges that need to get their tail off the bench.
That's right.
Like, freaking pay attention.
Yeah.
You know, just quit putting these people in just because they got a D behind their name or R behind their name. I don't vote like that. I vote on policy. I vote on history. I vote on your core values.
Yeah.
Now I'm just being real. I don't care if you a D, if you're a Democrat and your core values and policy is in alignment with mine, I'm gonna vote for you. If you're a Republican, if your core values is in alignment and with mine, I'm going to vote for you. I don't vote just because of the D behind it. I vote for the person, I vote for the policy, and I vote for the values. That's what I stand for. And there's some people, they don't need to be on that bench.
Yep.
We need to stop retaining these Superior Court judges. In order for them to get the bench, they got to be nominated by a special commission. Then those names go to the governor. The governor signs off and appoint them. But to stay on the bench, that's where we come in. And we have the right to keep these judges on these Superior Court benches, which are our felony courts, right?
Yeah.
This stuff is important. We got to call out this stuff. If we find judges are not aligned and doing what they need to do, you vote their tail out of there.
That's right.
That's everybody.
And everybody believes that judges don't actually have any discretion anymore.
Right.
They've got a whole bunch of discretion still. And all of the records of all of the ways that they have ruled since they have been on the bench is available for people to research.
Absolutely.
And I promise you, if you research that, you are going to discover some really fascinating things because you have certain judges that may always sentence to the minimum. Certain judges that always do the maximum, right? We have to find a happy medium because we know the system that we would want is that people are accountable, but people are incentivized to redeem and recover and change, right?
Absolutely. And you can be a restorative judge and still, hand down consequences, because the fact of the matter is that's why you got put in office. That's why you went to school. That's why you got a law degree, right? When we're talking about, doing restorative work or transformational justice work, we're not saying not holding people accountable, but you can't do it in a restorative way.
Yeah.
Right.
And we had a youngster come and went to one of the justices for justice court. And the judge said, listen, you've got like 16 violations in less than 18 months. You haven't even taken care of the first one or in any phase of it, whether you pay the fine, the community service, any of that, hasn't done anything on the first of 16. And you're expecting him to, take responsibility. And as soon as you do, they look at you completely different.
Yeah.
If you just want to fight and buck against the system, I shouldn't have got these 16 tickets.
Yeah, we got a jail cell for you.
Yeah. And that's the other thing, bro, the jail cell thing. Okay, because so many warrants were quashed Saturday. That is TPD and sheriff not having to send 2 officers out to serve a warrant in neighborhoods that may be dangerous, not only to the community, but to those officers.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they don't have to do that now.
And they don't have to do that, and also they keeps space open in jail for the menace to society, the real dangerous ones. That is a danger to our community that needs to be sitting in jail versus someone that got light offenses, So, so we did have a great event. So again, thank you, community, for showing up and showing out for Fresh Start. We love you. We know we appreciate you. We got a great announcement coming kind of like at the end of the show. So please stay tuned. Real quickly, we've been doing, I wrote the book, The Traumatization of Incarceration. So I have one of the books right here on hard copy. You can find this on Amazon. So please go support your boy. If you've been in prison, you've been in jail, you've been in juvenile detention center, or you got a family member that you know of, a church member, a community member that's been in prison, you most definitely want to get this book. This book, there's a lot of books on prison. There's a lot of books on the history of prison. There's a lot of books talks about the injustices. We know there's a lot of people that's been innocent, that's went in prison being convicted, and now 40 years later they're exonerated from those verdicts. So there's many books on this, but the traumatization of incarceration is a bit different because it has a lens on the neural and the psycho effects of what prison does to inmates' brains and nervous systems and bodies. So this really talks about the triggers, talks about the causation of how even inmates even got into prison, talks about their early childhood traumas and then secondary trauma from being in prison and being in jail cells and all kind of things with this book hit. So this book goes more into the psychology and the neurology of the brain and nervous system of inmates and how you are affected not only in prison, but even you can be out of prison and still have long-term ramifications of PTSD, paranoia, and all those different things, and grief, because you've been traumatized in prison. So you want to go get this book, The Traumatization of Incarceration. Tom, our co-hosts, have been reading the book. You guys know he's just a few years shy of 30 years in prison, and I've had some serious traumatic experiences. And so we want to spend some time talking about this book on our show, and he has some enlightening aha moments. And so throw it your way, Tom.
I will shout from the rooftops, please get this book. Please read this book. If you are related to somebody who is incarcerated, please get this book. If you are in a relationship with somebody who is incarcerated, please get this book. And if you have been incarcerated or are still incarcerated, please find a way to get this book. Because you will read through this book and you will find from the very introduction, you will find the truth that he speaks in this book is exactly what we experienced in there. And then he explains how that is associated with the amygdala, the prefrontal cortex, the hippocampus, and how they are imprinted in such a way that it's virtually impossible to eliminate that scar. And until you start to really work on it. Now, there are a number of things in the book. I'm in chapter 12 now, but I went all the way back to the beginning because I asked Dr. Holt that I thought it was so important that we talked about some of these things. And now, one of the earliest things in the book, bro, is it says that the 12-year-old kid that is shoplifting is no different than the 25-year-old who's committing an armed robbery. And the reason they did it is virtually the same. Mm-hmm. And they're the same person.
Yeah.
Reason being, they were looking for something that act wasn't necessarily going to get them, but it was going to get them. And the only thing that I got choked up because I immediately so associated it with, I used to get in trouble as a little kid because it was so very difficult to get my dad's attention because there's 5 boys and 1 girl, right? But if you got in trouble, you were first in line.
Right.
And you know what? Negative attention or positive attention is still attention. And for a kid that's craving attention, he's going to find it.
Yeah.
In prison, that translates also. I mean, it blew me away that we're going to react to rules. We're going to react to an environment that's created in prison in a way that a child would react to it.
Yeah.
But the system was created that way.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it's created that way, and it's not a broken system. It's a system that's put in place for a reason. That is to torture inmates until their release. and that's just what it is. I mean, we can say, there's laws in regards to, unusual punishment and things of that nature, but everything is unusual how inmates are punished. And we know that around 90% of inmates that's currently in state and federal penitentiaries suffer from some type of childhood trauma, and a lot of time it impacts our behaviors. Like say we want to get attention, or we feel something is missing, or because you're in fight or flight, or you're in survival mode, you go out and do some crime because you was really like, well, I gotta sling dope. You know what I'm saying? Or I gotta go rob somebody so I can get some money and put food on the table. And you're in that trauma response. But that trauma response, if we don't address it and catch individuals, they're going to do something stupid and something against the law that's going to unfortunately get them criminalized in the justice system, and now they have this felony for the rest of their life. But the root cause of it was just childhood trauma that was never addressed, poverty, violence, all those different things. And there's a lot of brothers and sisters who are incarcerated now. If they knew what they knew then, not what they know now,
Oh yeah.
they're like, I wouldn't be sitting up in here today.
Right, yeah, amen. I mean, my dad was a police officer.
Yeah,
Right. So in an authoritative position,
yeah,
in a uniform,
yeah,
I was hit by a police officer as his son, but it's still a uniform that's hitting me.
yeah,
And that's going to carry with you.
yeah,
And every uniform you look at is that guy.
yeah, yeah,
It don't matter,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You don't get past that when it happens every day. And if that's your home, and you say it right here, bro, home was not a sanctuary, but a battleground.
That's right. That's right.
Where violence was guaranteed.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
absolutely.
and you live in this, hypervigilance, but you live in this anxiety and depression, waiting for it to happen again. How can I react? Can I make it stop?
Yeah, that's the region of the brain we call the amygdala. So the amygdala is our fear center that looks for danger. This is what saves our lives. That's what we have, that we say sixth sense or spidey sense for danger. Like you really can't prove it, but you can tell something is not right. Well, that's what our amygdala does. Our amygdala sounds the alarm. But the problem with the amygdala, if we have too much violence, we have too much triggering, then the amygdala gets hijacked and gets stuck. And then what happens is, everything sounds the alarm, and everything is constantly overwhelming, overstimulating, and over-triggering. And that's what prison does as well. Even when you're released from prison and you're not no longer in that traumatic environment, your brain is still sounding the alarm, and everything is overstimulating and over-triggering, which makes us to break down, have panic attacks, have paranoia, and all those things.
I have constantly, and admittedly, will create hyper-vigilant environments because I feel more comfortable there. I feel as though I could produce there. I feel like I excel there because I've lived there for so as a child for all those years, bro. Just day after day after day after day, living in this hypervigilance, it just becomes a way of life.
It comes a way of life, and it also not only becomes a way of life, but abnormal becomes your normacy.
Come on.
Right? And that's even dangerous.
That's a homeostasis.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Your homeostasis is unlike anybody else's because it's awful.
Yeah.
But you have accepted it.
You have accepted it, and you have chosen to allow that to be the new domain that you live in. So what happens is, when you leave the prison environment, incarcerated space, into now your home, sometimes inmates have a difficult time trying to fit into a place called normal because we're so used to chaos and crisis and danger and violence, to where you finally get into a place of normalcy. That's triggering. It's almost like,
that's awful.
What
That's
the heck
depressing.
is going on here? Somebody's supposed to be getting their throat slashed, and somebody should be getting shanked, But that's not even just in prison. That's not even just in a war in war and battle, that's also in our neighborhoods. You know, when you've been living in a certain neighborhood for so long, living
Yeah.
in a hood full of violence and full of
Yeah.
armed robbery and people getting murdered, and you finally move into another neighborhood where everything's cool. No, there's no
You're looking
bullets
for it.
shotting, right?
Yeah, you're
You're just
looking
like,
for it.
what is going on? This is triggering. Nobody's gotten shot in 6 months. What's going on? So yeah, we become overly aroused and hyper vigilant. And our amygdala gets hijacked, and it gets overly stimulated as well, to where it's constantly looking for danger where there's no danger to find.
And what I've discovered from all of this is in knowing this now, is it would have been shocking and unbelievable if I didn't have a gunfight with police. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
That was almost like the ultimate outcome that it had to be, because some of my initial abuse came from a police officer,
Yeah,
my
yeah,
dad.
yeah.
You know, other abuses came from members
and
of
sometimes
that.
make you have problems with authority.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And that's why still to this day, bro, if the one's behind me,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm getting off the road. I don't
Absolutely.
care. I'm not doing nothing wrong. I'm just
Absolutely.
going to the exit.
Absolutely.
And brothers and sisters out there, you're going to go through this and you're going to face these triggers. And Dr. Holt speaks about these in the book and stuff. And that's another reason why I say, please get this. And please, when we start doing the TRW, get involved in it, because it's going to be essential, because we go back to the kid that was
Yeah.
abused.
Yeah.
We go back to the one that was molested. We
Yeah,
go
yeah,
back to a
yeah.
mindset. And that mindset, bro, doesn't have rational thinking
That's right.
with developmental results,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We don't make good decisions when we're deciding as a 5-year-old kid that got molested, or
Yeah.
a 7-year-old kid that got beat to the point where he had broken ribs and a broken arm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This stuff is really serious. And that's why I wanted to come from my lens of my expertise in regards to writing, about prison, is I want to say, okay, what is the neurology, the psychology, the emotional, the spiritual? And then, is it safe to say that not only inmates are suffering from complex trauma and chronic trauma and things, and possibly post-traumatic stress disorder, but what about grief? I don't think we talk enough
Oh, come
about our inmates are grieving, or they haven't even got a chance to even start that process.
Yeah.
And some probably don't even start grieving until they're out of prison, because of the fact you're in so survival mode, you have to dissociate yourself and numb yourself because of the vicious environment that you're in. You never even got a chance to go through any stages of the grief of the loss of your marriage, being in prison, your spouse moved on, you missed the first couple steps of your 2-year daughter. Now she's 21 and
Yeah.
engaged or
Oh,
in
yeah.
college. I mean, so there's a grief part of this too that the book articulates and affirms that inmates are experiencing too.
The grief chapter, like I told you when we spoke, it's too short. It's so accurate, because I mean, I can speak on the fact that when my grandma was dying, I took it to them and told them, right?
Yeah.
And they locked me down and they put me in the hole in solitary confinement because my
Yeah.
grandma was dying, and I just put in to go see
Yeah.
a bedside visit. And I was
Yeah.
in minimum security, bro.
Yeah.
So when my dad died, I didn't say a word. And I kept it to myself. And I didn't tell nobody,
Yeah. Yeah.
because that's going to backfire.
Yeah.
Because if you lose somebody, they're going to punish you.
Yeah.
And that's the mindset in there, bro. Anything has this just crazy mindset that the result of it is going to be punishment.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, this is the way I've always reacted. I don't know how to react otherwise, but they're telling me it's wrong. And now I'm going to go to the hole.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what happens in the hole, bro. People kill themselves.
I believe it.
Dozens of people kill
believe
themselves in prison when they get in solitary confinement, because they have to live up here in the dark, up here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's deep, man. Listen, you guys got to go get the book. We run out of time on the
Oh,
show.
wow. Oh, wow.
But let's let's go out. Let's support the book, The Traumatization of Incarceration. There's a guy named Bill that's on our Fresh Start International page that he got the book. It's an excellent read. So Bill, I really appreciate your support, man. Continue. Let's spread the word. But go get the book. It's on Amazon right now for $14.99 paperback, hard copy, $19.99. It's out there. So go get the book. Finally, we want to close out. Is finally, you guys have asked for the last couple of years, and finally, we're going to deliver. And so, our announcement is we're going to do a worship experience at Fresh Start as well. You guys know we've been doing the clinics, we've been doing the expos for going on 6 years now. But many people said, what about the ministry side? And so now we're going to start a ministry side of Fresh Start and do a spiritual piece of the gathering. So the Fresh Start Tuesday night word explosion is going to take place Tuesday night at 7 p.m. on June 23rd. So come on out and join us at Utterback Middle School in Tucson, Arizona. All right. So we're looking forward to seeing you. So let's go. Let's have a great time. Look forward to see you at the Tuesday night explosion, June 23rd. Keep it locked. All right. Take care. God bless.